Welcome to this latest edition of Circle Back, podcast here at the EC, brought to you through the generosity of the Beth and Randy Chase family with support from the Nashville Post. Really excited about today's guest, someone who is in the Nashville Entrepreneur Center Hall of Fame and someone who has created such meaningful enterprises throughout her career. We're going to get to unpack that journey, and then any advice you might have to fellow entrepreneurs who want to be in the social impact space or any impact space for that matter. So join me in welcoming today's guest, Becca Stevens. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So look, let's get in because your story is really rich. Again, we'll take that a couple different ways, I think. But first question I'd like to ask everybody, what is the first thing you did that was entrepreneurial or had any inkling of that?
Yeah, I mean, I was born an entrepreneur, I think. I was born in South Nashville. My family had moved here when I was 5, and my dad died that first year we were here by a drunk driver. So basically, you had to be an entrepreneur, like figure out how to do things. You know, I did everything from, there was a place called Harding Mall. Mm-hmm. It was on the intersection of, Knowlesville Road and Harding Place. And Harding Mall had a barber shop in it. And when I was about 11, I started shining shoes there. Huh. And I made pretty good money. And I also love the fact that I got to get one of those change things that went on your belt. Yeah. I bought one of those and loved it. But I made up for muscular dystrophy. You could have carnivals in your yard. My sisters and I did that when we were little. And then my first kind of better gig that made some money, I was smashing pennies outside Car Collectors Hall of Fame on Demumbrian, back when people they still had those museums up there before they moved them all more downtown. And I sat on what they called a Model A Ford reproduction with a Pinto engine in it. And I would just try to get people to come to the museum. Mm-hmm. So I just sat on the car, would smash your penny for 50 cents and stamp it with Car Collectors Hall of Fame and get you to come inside. So I shined shoes and hawked people into museums.
And then, smash pennies. Now they have those machines that, do that everywhere. So
that's what I did. I put it in the machine.
Oh, you just put it in the machine. I
was like, you
didn't have a device that was doing it.
No, it was so funny because it was like really all they wanted you to do is bring people into the museum. Yeah. So it was like, hey, where are you from?
And was there anybody in your life as you were doing these entrepreneurial things that you looked to as like, that's an entrepreneur, that's somebody that I don't know if you want to be like them, or at least they were doing something as an adult that you were starting to emulate as a kid?
I think that, like I said, everybody in my family was trying to figure out ways of surviving. We obviously didn't call it entrepreneurship.
Yeah, right.
We called it hustles. But like my sister was, 7 or 8 years older than me, and her boyfriend was selling stuff out of the back of a car. Mm-hmm. I guess that was my first
that was your first, there's an entrepreneur.
There's an entrepreneur.
That's what it's all about. Are you allowed to share what he was selling?
Yes, I think it was, I think it was a variety of things, including the shiatsu knife or the stainless scissors that would never go dull. I feel like it was pots and pans, knives, scissors, but they were all that stuff you could also get on TV. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as seen on TV. Just a retailer trying to make it. Yeah. So walk us through then those years where you're doing these things, these hustles, and then any ambition then to think you wanted to own a business, or did you know what you wanted to do for a living at that point?
I wanted to do everything. It's not like I wanted to do something. Sure. I wanted to do everything, And when finally the dream of being an Olympic gymnastics died at the age of 11 or 12, okay, I could focus a little more. But then, so things narrowed down. Mm-hmm. But I was a math major in college. Then I was in divinity school. I was working for justice organizations. I would say that the common theme was I was always for the underdog.
Okay.
I wanted to be a part of kind of rallying people and creating safe and good community. I'm the same person in that way. And I was also always wanting to create. So whether, I'm knitting or melting crayons and making candles or starting bath and body care companies, it's I very much like to do something that, oh my gosh, I remember, can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
So I just remember one time, when I got that CNN Hero Award, the gift, I use that word, is you had to go to LA for a week of meetings. and they made you bring somebody with you. So I brought Hal Cato with me.
Sure.
And so we had to fly down there. I was inside an office, 8 to 5 with the other, I think there was like the top 10 or whatever. And we had to bring somebody, our business partner with us, and sit through meetings 101 on like how to make a board, how to start a business, all this. And I was like, the only reason I survived was I started crocheting, and I crocheted an entire blanket. And by the time I was done, everybody in the room was like, come on, you can finish it. Let's do it. Let's get this going.
Yeah,
people had like insights on colors. Like, I feel like we made that blanket together, and it saved us from like just not just talking about it, but just being creative.
Of course. And so that idea to create sounds like it's always been a part of you. Were you able to lean into that in college as a math major, in divinity school?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So they say, if you've ever, I don't know if anybody, if you ever want like a really good old book, it's called Gödel, Escher, and Bach. Okay. Gödel, Escher, and Bach. And so the whole idea is like, what are the creative, amazing languages that are universal? And, it's like music, theology, and math, plus art. So, Escher has those drawings that are infinite. Gödel started programming computers so that could do infinite work. Bach had this music that kept going and made you, in an infinite way. So I think math is super creative and universal.
Yeah. And then...
do you do math?
With
do you
help.
do the math?
With help. I can do some math really quickly in my head, but only up to a certain decimal point.
Yeah.
So
I can't do any of that math. I think more of like kind of the systematic math, or like thinking that way in the world.
I do community math. How many people am I going to have to pull together to pull this thing off?
There you go. That's a good.
That's a good. I'll stick to that. We'll see when that becomes a major at college campuses. Divinity school was always the plan?
No, because you couldn't even get ordained when I was growing up. Women couldn't get ordained. And I have no idea how that worked, but for some reason it took about 2,000 years to,
sure.
Like, oh my God, is she going to get in the pulpit? But when I think it was, graduating from high school, you started seeing women get ordained. And then it was like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know if I was that interested in it, but once I got a math degree and realized there was nothing I wanted to do in the field of math, divinity school made sense. So I went to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. And with an idea of how you were going to, quote, use that degree in terms of being in the pulpit?
I knew I was going to be ordained. Now, I didn't know if I was going to be in a church, but I knew I was going to be ordained. And I thought ordination gave you the most freedom that you could possibly want to do the community math.
Yeah, sure.
To gather people and bring them in and figure out what it needed. So, right when I got ordained, I knew I was going to start communities. I knew that. And
Episcopal, always?
I've always been Episcopalian.
Yeah. So that's what you knew.
They have very good sense of decor.
There you go.
They have good outfits.
And so you finished divinity school, and then what?
Then they offered me the chaplaincy at Vanderbilt, and I went over there, and there was about a half a dozen people in this little chapel on this, Fraternity Row on 24th Avenue South in Nashville. And I was like, wait, you get health benefits and you can do this? I was like, I'm absolutely doing this. Yeah. And I knew that at that point it was called, my head was called Magdalene. It became Thistle Farms was going to start. And it started right on the Vanderbilt campus with so many people from Vanderbilt supporting it.
And what brought about that revelation or that idea where you were like, this is needed?
Oh, gosh. I don't know how people didn't know it was needed.
Was that part of divinity school that you got to see that need, or you knew it well before?
I think maybe so. No, like all this stuff is just stuff. I think just for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, and for me, I think the truth is like trusting what you know, that curiosity, that creativity that we were talking about, but also just like what's in your gut. So, like I grew up. My mom was the director of St. Luke's Community Center, just in North Nashville, helping people. I had experienced sexual abuse as a kid. All this stuff was part of my story, like how community helps, how community can be unsafe, all of those things. And, I grew up with Room in the Inn was around. And it's like, I really knew that for me, like if I was coming out of prison or off the streets, having been raped and trafficked and abused and addicted and all those things, it's like warehousing me would be the worst. And telling me what to do would be the worst. So I just figured out like what I think what was needed was something that would work for me if that was happening to me. And that's when it was like, I want to have really safe communities for small groups of women with no authority living in the house that's free. I knew that would work. And it has.
This may be two business a parallel, but you were essentially the customer. You knew what the customer wanted because you.
I have never been on the streets,
fair,
and I'd never
fair,
been in prison. But I think what I had, and I would never compare my story to any of the women's stories that I've served, but I think I had enough of just a taste of what that was that I had some compassion for it. So I don't know that I was the customer, but I think I loved the customer because I kind of had a feeling of how I could have been the customer. That's what it was. I was close to being a customer because it messes with you.
Sure. And this started, I hate to say just, only you say the word just because of where this has grown now, but this started with just these services, the housing, the social services, the support. When did the
so the way it started, we started about 1995. So just 30 years ago. That's crazy to me. It just went by in a beautiful, beautiful blink. But I just really wanted to do as an outreach. Like I didn't think, oh my gosh, this is going to be my whole ministry in my career. I did not think that way about anything. I still don't really think that way. When people go like, what are you going to be doing in 5 years? It's like, I don't know.
That's right, yeah.
Now I feel like just crossing my fingers, I'm collecting Social Security. But we started with one house and 5 women and just said, come stay 2 years, rent-free with no authority. And that's when, because I'm an entrepreneur, I knew that wasn't enough, that it was like, these women are incredible. They're doing incredible work, and they're still dirt poor because they were average on the street at 15. So it's like, how are you supposed to get a job? And you don't even have all your teeth. So how about let's start a business? And that's when we started Thistle Farms and manufacturing and creating things I liked, which were bath and body care products. I love making that stuff.
Yeah.
I just this morning was making my homemade detergent.
Yeah.
And because I have ADD, I still get so distracted.
Okay. How'd it turn out?
Well, I walked away from the stove, and I have now the cleanest kitchen floor.
Yeah.
That's
Bubble
thick.
over.
Well, it's thick with like they're just soapy films. So like you can slide on my floor this morning. But I love making that stuff. But it's much better that like I'm not making anything at Thistle Farms. It's like they go, no, you can't. Don't touch it.
Yeah,
don't touch it.
That's right.
I'm unworthy. But that's when I decided to do that part.
And adding that to the services, to the opportunities for these women, was that easy to do? They were excited about it. Was it? It took some convincing. Hey, we're going to start making this stuff.
I don't think it was hard at all. I think people were like, because, I had enough money where I'm like, I can pay 6 hours a week for the first 3 months and see how it goes. Everybody's like, let's do it. And, we had like a grad student from the business school. We had a couple div school students and people who wanted to join in and we kind of had fun.
Yeah.
And all of us had babies. Like, one of the women that from Thistle Farms, there was only like 6 of us total. And we just started making stuff. It was fun. Right on the campus. Now I can't believe they wouldn't probably ever let me do it.
Yeah.
Now they would make us have background checks. And so none of us, I would pass, but that would be the only one working there. But it's back then they didn't, we just started doing it. We were just making candles and body lotions. And it was beautiful watching a community grow. That's my favorite. That is the community math I love. Because it does grow exponentially. And
when did you start selling it? Immediately? That this was be viable as...
Oh my gosh. Do you want to hear the craziest thing is the very first time we got permission, what was it? To get in Whole Foods. It was Whole Foods in like Franklin, by the way. Wasn't even Whole Foods Green Hills. Whole Foods Franklin.
Franklin, yeah.
We would make the products on Monday and Wednesday. And I would drive to Franklin Whole Foods on Tuesday and Thursday and buy them. Because I didn't think they were going to go off the shelf. And I was like, if we don't get them off the shelves, they're not going to keep going. And so I was like talking to all my friends, and everybody's like, come on, let's go. We're going down there to buy Thistle Farms stuff. And they're like, this is ridiculous. Like, you just made it.
Yeah.
And now you're buying it. And I think it worked, though, because it's like then people start getting excited and getting used to the idea of, oh, Thistle Farms is a product you can trust. Thistle Farms makes high quality stuff. Thistle Farms helps women build houses. People start having something in their mind.
So it wasn't just about this is nice to do. You had to make sure that the product itself could stand on its own.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I can make anybody buy one candle.
Sure.
But not two.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to come back if the wicks aren't good, if the scent is bad, all those things.
And so then talk to me how you try to manage, because obviously the need is great to offer services to these women who are coming out of these situations, period. Then there's a need to give them a job in making things. But then you also have to sell all this stuff.
No, but you're
it's the wrong
it's the whole wrong language.
This is math I can't do. Yes.
So the language is the women did it. It wasn't that
Thank you. Yeah.
I did this and gave them that. Like, I don't even think that way. I think of us. Okay. So the pioneer women that came through built a business. The pioneer women who came through Thistle Farms are the leaders. Many to this day who have either started their own companies or grown Thistle Farms to a national level. The head of all of our national residential services that were 72 sister communities around the country, graduate of Thistle Farms. The director of all the residential services, graduate of Thistle Farms. The director of logistics that handles all the shipping and development, is a graduate of Thistle Farms. The director of manufacturing, graduate of Thistle Farms. So I think it's very important that we don't think we are doing this for somebody. Like, I'm so glad I get to hang on.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think the best thing of entrepreneurship is, when you're not trying to control it. You're just like going, let's have a party and make this stuff and grow it and figure it out. That's my favorite.
Did the growth in the sales of the product, the growth of the brand, that allowed, that money's getting poured back into the women and the services. Does that allow the organization to do more?
I think it's so funny when people, there's this whole world of social entrepreneurship. Within that world, I like to think, and if there was one takeaway from the podcast, this is what I would want it to be. There's a subset within that, which I like to call justice entrepreneurship instead of social entrepreneurship. So justice entrepreneurship is when the mission is the workforce. And the reason that is critical, it's so critical for entrepreneurs, because justice entrepreneurship changes everything. You're a mission with a business, not a business that tries to make a mission. And that means that you get smaller margins. It means that you spend twice as much money on training. It means that production and productivity is a goal, but it's not the number one goal. Scalability and sustainability is not about business, it's about community. So it changes the marketplace, changes, the links in a market chain. It changes how we understand the word margin. Margin is not just for profit, the piece, which is important, but margin is also the people you serve. It's the margins. So, I am never trying to make enough candles, or our CEO or anybody's not trying to make enough candles to support the whole mission of what Thistle Farms is. Within that mission, there's a business. So we make enough candles and sell enough candles that it can sustain 100 people in the workforce, but not to go, oh, here is all the mission work we want to do as far as setting up new housing, investing in education around the globe, working on advocacy on our state capital. None of that is paid for by candles. But we did, I get super happy that, 3 of the leaders I was just talking about, they all built their own houses and cut ribbons this year.
Wow.
That was a long answer. I'm so sorry.
No, that's perfect. Did you hope that could happen in
Yes.
1995? These women are not just going to be here for 2 years. They're going to eventually be homeowners?
Yeah. Absolutely. I hope that for everybody. And I do think, like, what I always have thought is, like, oh, we can figure this out. We can figure this out. If people just gave, not just us, but gave in gratitude for the mercy they've known. If I just give in gratitude for the mercy I've known, there would be plenty, and we can figure this out. And I think one of the entrepreneurial ideas that has come to me over the last few decades is, like, if love is in that entrepreneurial mix, you can transform a candle into a house. It's not even hard. But it takes everybody doing it. That's the thing. Like, you think, oh, it's just a candle. And it's like, yeah, but if you're one of 50,000 people buying a candle, that's a house. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Like a house built on candles.
Yeah. And during this time, as the organization starts, it adds the product side of it, selling at Whole Foods, buying at Whole Foods. What are some of those, the challenges maybe you didn't foresee?
Oh my gosh.
Challenges of growth, of opportunity? Again, because I completely understand what you're saying, talking about justice, entrepreneurship. I imagine that has its own set of challenges that might be different than what we know as social entrepreneurship, which has gotten pretty popular in certain areas.
Yes, and I hope that you become a champion of justice entrepreneurship. You probably already are, but I'm just saying, like, I just have this thing of, like, if people could kind of distinguish the two, because somebody will say something to me like, oh yeah, I know somebody that does what you do. We have a after school program that does ice cream. It's like, that is not what we do.
Right.
You know, we sell wrapping paper to school.
Yeah, right,
That's not what we do. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you know, one of the wildest things to me, and this is about, I don't know if it's about Nashville or if it's about entrepreneurship or perception or branding. I'm not sure. But the hardest time I had was when we opened the café over on Charlotte Avenue. And people loved that Thistle Farms helped women coming off the streets. People loved that we made these healing products for your body and home. But when we said, well, now we're going to feed people and open up this world-class cafe, they were like, no, that's not what you do. You know, that stay in your lanes.
Who said that?
I think almost every foundation in Nashville said that to me. Almost every one of them. I kid you not. And I was like, you know, it's like important to know that less is more sometimes. I got that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was the first time I'd ever gotten pushback, and I was like, why do people care if I open a cafe? So it kind of just made me more determined to go get the money.
Even after you'd had the success, like there had been this success.
Yes.
And track record.
But I knew that we had to feed people. Like if I want the community to come and be a part of Thistle Farms, come shop, engage with amazing survivor women from our own streets of Nashville who can teach you so much and do, you know, just take their rightful place as part of the healing community of Nashville. We needed to serve food and engage people and all that. Anyway, it worked. Yeah. And now every one of those foundations, I bet 100% of those foundations have their board meetings in our education space.
Sure.
Thankfully. I mean, I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying it like I'm so glad people came around and said, oh, you can do several businesses with a common mission to love.
And what drives your evaluation of an opportunity like that? Because my hunch is you've had 100 ideas, but you didn't act on all of them. Maybe you did. And some worked better than others. But I mean, in terms of either the less is more, or when do you add something, whether it's more housing, whether it's another product line, whether it's, in this case, a cafe, what drives the growth? Because it doesn't seem like it's just growth for growth's sake, like a lot of entrepreneurs in the for-profit side are
growth
chasing.
Is good for growth's sake because there's more than 400 women on our waiting list. So I'm not opposed to growth for growth's sake.
But because you have the justice model. If you didn't have that, then it would just be chasing a number.
Yeah. Yes. But I think, you know, thank God for boards and people who have sense. I think that's what, you know, because I have maybe 2 or 3 ideas right now that I really want us to do. And, you know, our CEO, Tasha Kennard, who I love dearly, says, what'd she say, bottom drawer that or something? Is that a thing?
Maybe. Yeah.
What do the people
you can
say?
parking lot it. You can, there's a lot of things you can do.
She was saying something like that. And I was like, oh my God, I think you're telling me no.
I'm saying no. Yeah. Or at least wait.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. But it's like, No, I can't. I think I for years have been wanting to start a whole line of products based on mud, because mud is so healing and powerful and also devastating and all those things that mud is. And people pay $40 for a jar of mud. And so I want to go into find some really old, good mud and do it. And so I've been down in Guatemala with some Mayan women, and they mix it with jade.
Wow.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I want to think about, just some of the places like in North Carolina or wherever they've been devastated by mud, and what's the filtration process and how do we do it. Anyway, that's on hold.
Okay, sure. It's a wait.
And that's a wait. And then couch socks. I want to have a whole line of couch socks.
Socks you wear on the couch, or socks made from couches?
Just on the couch. So Here's the thing: is I think the tagline I've been thinking about a long time on this justice work for the long term is no one can stand for justice 24/7. Like, you have to relax and what would be a gift to you? And so to wrap an oil of Thistle Farms around a pair of super comfy socks, not made for shoes, but just super soft and comfy, and put that inside like a holder, like a koozie or a mug or something. And it just picks up the old tagline from the civil rights movement, which is my feet are weary, but my soul is rested. And just saying, what's a gift I could give you that would remind you, relax. And so there's a group of women in Ukraine in the middle of this war who have knit the socks.
Wow.
And Thistle Farms has the oils. And I just need somebody to make a mug or a koozie, and I'm ready to go. But I think it's been backdrawered.
Yeah, backdrawered. Yeah, there you go.
Bottom drawered. I don't think it's back. Is it backdrawered?
I don't know that I've heard either. I'll be honest. I don't know. I've heard a lot of business phrases and
Let's
cliches.
ask a professional.
Yeah,
what do you think?
We'll get Clark. We'll get Clark on the pod. I guess. Yeah. We'll find. We'll he's gonna look that up. He'll pull that up and figure out where we're at. Back drawer, bottom drawer, top drawer, middle drawer. I
think top drawer means it's a priority.
I think it's ready. Yeah.
I think bottom drawer is stupid.
Right. We're never.
That's a dumb idea. We're never doing it.
We're never. No, that's what I inherited from the prior.
Never gonna happen.
When did you? So things have been added to Thistle Farms lineup. Let's call it, not just product wise, but the cafe continues to grow, housing and other opportunities for women.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide to start focusing, or at least adding these opportunities like you've mentioned that are outside of Nashville?
Yeah.
So before this, you were telling me about
everything was kind of organic. Like I said, I don't have good vision. I'm nearsighted. I'm entrepreneurially nearsighted.
There you go.
But I love what's before me. And I think a lot of people who, especially think about old school prophets, they weren't about telling the future. They're just about seeing clearly what's happening in front of them and speaking their truth as honestly as they can in the present. And it ended up calling that prophets. So I think sometimes having good vision just means you're seeing clearly what's in front of you, not like I'm a visionary that can predict the future. And I think some people are that, and that's just not who I am. But I think for me, I was always open to what was around me and saying yes. So the whole growing of becoming the largest network of survivor beds in the U.S. around the country with communities almost in every state was not a plan. It was saying yes for decades. Yes, I'll come to New Orleans and see what's going on. Yes, I'll come to Missouri. I'll come to Omaha, wherever. And I've just tried to say yes. And then we started really doing education and training right here in Nashville for folks. And then overseas, it was about, it started back in 2008. The first group was in Rwanda, and they were producing geranium oil, women survivors of the genocide. And it might have been a little before that, but that was really when it kicked in. And it was like, oh my God, we could blend and make bug spray. Have you ever used our bug spray?
I have.
Do you like it?
I do.
Do you want to do a testimonial?
Sure. You need some? Yeah.
Yeah, I need some testimonials because
we'll
it's that time of year.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So we need testimonials on that. But just the first time you use it, you could post. Anybody listening, if there's anybody listening that cares about life, just spray on some bug spray, post it and say it's the best bug spray you've ever had. But that's what started it. And then it was like, oh my gosh, there's this group of women who are Syrian refugees that have, in human trafficking and human refugee crises are linked, or they're inextricably linked. So how is it that we can engage women who are so in the midst of refugee war, like fleeing and war, to help make them safe? And really, you have to be about entrepreneurship and economics to help. It can't be just like, well, we're going to do counseling sessions. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
but they're trying to figure out how to get a lawyer to get somewhere safe. That costs money. Anyway, so that started. So we started, the first one of those was Love Welcomes, then it was Love Rises, then it was, just Rotong Center. We've started like a dozen of them, and it's been beautiful. And then I got involved with this group. It's a small group called Champions of Love, and we're able to distribute money every year. So we can start groups and then help fund them for years with this common fund, which has been a huge gift in my life.
And so that allows them to start their businesses
And
to earn income and to keep going.
Keep going for like 5 years. Like here, we'll support for 5 years.
And then how do they get their products to market? Does it depend? It depends on the product.
Well, there's a bunch of this. The whole intrawebs make it sometimes easier, sometimes harder. So we're a warehouse here in Nashville, distribution center for 30 global groups. So you can go on one website, Thistle Farms, and you can order from 20 different countries. Our model is called shared trade, and shared trade is different than fair trade, which I think fair trade, maybe the producers get about 27% back, and producers are the least valued person in the whole market chain. So how do we raise and elevate? If that's our mission, how do we elevate the value of the producer? So you either cut the links or reduce the margins. And so we've done both so that more than 50% goes back to producers. And we are the distributor, we're the wholesaler, we pay for the shipping, we do all of that. And I think it's on average about 58% goes back. We're trying to get to 60 without going under.
Sure.
But, that's the point. And so we're trying to figure out, we're really trying to figure out how to certify people shared trade, and we're trying to certify retailers shared trade and figure out how could the Entrepreneurial Center be a shared trade retailer, and you order directly from these partners that we have vetted, that we can tell you, to be a shared trade partner, it means more than 50%, obviously, of your workforce are women, people who are at risk, they're involved in a network for best practices, and they invest in education and training for their workforce. And we're a part of all of that. We've done site visits for every group. So you feel really good about the groups and the sourcing of healing products that are actually healing communities. Because every entrepreneur knows that the data teaches us if we invest in women, we heal community. And if we rape women, we kill community.
You find that these communities you go to, how hungry are they to create?
Oh my gosh.
To build something.
Yeah.
Versus, again, it's a lie. This notion of people are just sitting there with their hand out. I think people are sitting there with their hand out because they want a tool to go create something, if anything.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's the human desire is to create and to create together. And that's a lot of the model we leverage here with our building and with our educational model is these people in this building are willing to do hard work and what they're chasing. Imagine you have to see that in every one of these communities.
Oh my gosh, everywhere. And it's like, I could just read you words. Marina, who runs the Love Rises in Ukraine, talks about like, nobody just wants to be a refugee. No. I want to be productive and creative and share hope and bring income to change things, because this is a really hard time. And that's part of mental health. That's what she talks about, like the thing keeping her sane is this work. In the midst of trying to figure out for the first time in her life, she now understands the difference between the front line and the home front. What is that? And how is that different? How do I change in my life? And how do I keep other women safe? And how do I keep kids in school even when they're in the bunkers? And it's like this community building with this group of women knitters. They become leaders. They win awards by Zelensky. I mean, it's like, for heroic, they've made, 1,000 education kits for kids on the money they've earned.
Wow.
It's not like you're doing this for somebody. You're doing it with them because they are heroic. I mean, I think, I don't know. So I've seen it over and over. It's like so hungry to do stuff and so capable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, hang on, because you're going to learn something. I really want to write a book about it, about Around the World in 80 Ideas.
That's a good title.
And
I'd pick that up.
You would?
Yeah.
Swear.
Yeah. I like to read. So I'm
You're a reader?
Yeah. I think the average American, or 25% of people read a book a year or something. It's terrible.
Oh, no.
But not a lot of people read.
Somebody said there's more people writing than reading books now.
That's probably true. There's more people recording podcasts than reading. That's for
right.
Sure. I can tell you that.
I heard a comedian talk about there's too many microphones.
That's good.
But anyway, yeah.
So an idea like that, just Around the World 80 Ideas, given your success, given your ideas, whether it gets bottom drawered or not, where do you decide to make a move into an area like author, entrepreneur, priest? I mean, there's all of these titles you have, creator. Like what takes precedent of, do I want to write a book or do I want to go help start this next justice community in fill in the blank?
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I can tell you that I was in a board meeting not too long ago, and I was talking about some of this, and somebody goes, well, let's not get into the weeds. And I was like, I named a whole organization after a notorious weed. Like, I love the weeds.
Yeah.
And I don't mind going down any path, and I think it's pretty porous in the woods, and I'm, like, you can wander off a path and feel pretty good. So, like, they're all connected. Going around the world and working with communities of women, writing a book, being a priest, and being an entrepreneur are part of the same love letter I'm trying to write.
What chapter are you in of that love letter?
Hopefully not the last. That's what you're asking.
I'm just curious, because we've talked to people on this podcast who, again, very much in the for-profit capitalist sense of, I started this company, I sold this company, and I'm good. But a lot of them still have an urge to create something, either to help invest in something or co-found something. But I mean, for you to have helped with, was it 70 plus communities get started, get off the ground?
More, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you're aiming for a number's sake. It seems like you're looking for these opportunities, saying, hey, there's a need, whether it's with mud or with anything else.
Honest to God, I'm not looking. That's the crazy part.
They find you. They're looking for you.
Like, yeah, I mean, I just got off the phone this morning with a group in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, here's what's happening. And it's like, it's so funny to me. It's like, I'm 100% in.
Uh-huh.
I'm 100% in because it's like, that sucks so bad, what they're going through. And it's like, I want to be on a walk with them. And I know it's a long, hard walk, and I get to be a little part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a distraction. It's community building.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go looking for it. I promise you I'm not. Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe sometimes I have. But in general, I think I'm trying to figure out what love looks like in response.
On this journey, how important have, and I wonder what term you use, advisors, mentors, co-conspirators, collaborators. Now, obviously, you mentioned Hal Cato, you mentioned Tasha Kennard. I mean, they are CEOs
Do you know
of what
Tasha?
is. I do know Tasha of what is. She is fantastic. Of what are essentially a large organization by a lot of typical standards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you, the organization, deciding to add capacity in that way, or the fact that it just can't just be about you, and never was, I would argue. But when do you know who to partner with, how to partner, when you're deficient in some area and you're like, I got to get help?
So there is people who are very capable and figure that out. Like, I don't do that. So, like, all the amazing groups in Nashville that we have partnered with at Thistle Farms, their team is working with our team, and we've grown and partnered, which is beautiful. As far as mentors and advocates and collaborators and what else do you call them?
Co-conspirators?
Co-conspirators.
Troublemakers?
Tons, so many. Like, I have I'm so grateful for all the people that are like that. I think of, the priests that I get to work with, a couple of them, Kate Fields and Scott Owings. I'm thinking of the people that travel and help fund and organize all the giving on the global level, like Tara Armistead, Maeve McConville. I think of people early on that were beautiful. Charlie Strobel and I were BFFs for a very long time.
I got his book last week.
You did. I love it. And my husband, I've been married almost 37 years to another great entrepreneur, Marcus Hummon. He's in the Singer-Songwriter Hall of Fame. And he'll do anything. Honest to God, our whole lives, he'll just do anything with me. So he is my, co-conspirator, or just, he is my, I don't know, he's my everything. He's so great to do this journey with. But, I have 3 children, all adults now, who work with and for and by the women I've served for years. So whether they're part of my son Levi Hummon's song lyrics, or Moses is doing his graphic designs and Kaney's painting his paintings. I just think my sister, who is an occupational therapist who teaches at Belmont, who comes in and does amazing healing work with women from Thistle Farms. Long term, she's the best healer in Nashville, Sandy Stevens. But I just think there's so many people, it's hard to even know.
Yeah. Hard to list them all.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. One time I took a walk up a mountain in Ecuador, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting up this thing. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to say a name of someone I'm grateful for every step. And it was so fun because it was so long that you got to go you start with the regulars like I just did, and then you go my 3rd grade teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy that I saw at the grocery store in 1992, or whatever.
Yeah.
When all of us start really thinking about the people that have woven themselves into our story, whether it was a thought they gave us in a book. Thank you, Gustavo Gutierrez from 1972. You can really go deep with how many people you owe what you think is an original thought to.
Derek Young did that. I was in a group he's given a talk to, DY, and he talked about who's your favorite teacher. And everybody said their favorite teacher. And he was like, I bet that was your first example of equity. Because he said that teacher probably gave you what you needed at that point.
Yes.
And that was his definition of equity. And it was realizing that whoever it was, whenever it was, had given you something, even if you were like, well, they're just nice to me.
Wow.
And it was a lot more than that. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
One of the best definitions I've heard of it. Okay. Any advice? Anybody who's listening, again, you talked about the difference with the justice entrepreneurship versus social entrepreneurship. Any other advice, whether it's an entrepreneur of any stripe, just getting started, curious about what to do?
I think you should always use oil on your skin. That's one piece of advice to anybody out there. Your skin needs oil. And so find the good stuff. And you can find that at thistlefarms.org.
With some couch socks.
With some couch, yeah, and everybody needs a couch sock. Who doesn't need a couch sock? Didn't it excite you when I started talking about that?
I don't like socks. I don't wear socks.
But yeah, but on a couch.
But a couch, sure.
Wait, you don't wear socks at all?
No, I don't. Anytime it's above 40 degrees, I don't wear socks. I just don't. I just don't like socks.
Doesn't that smell?
Not yet.
And that's
it's like you're talking about your bug spray. I love your bug spray. I love it for my kids. Mosquitoes don't bite me a lot.
Wow.
My kids, they do. So I love it for my kids. Anyway, that's be my testimonial. But yeah, I guess I'm unique in that I'm not saying my feet don't stink, but
that's what I'm saying. I think that
we'll call my wife.
Let's call your wife
right.
and ask her about that. Or just strangers. I don't even know if that your wife will be the
true.
honest thing.
That's fair. Well, ask people here see me in the building every day.
Just let me see you smell your
that's
shows.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, no. But my advice about starting things and doing anything is, I think my hope as an entrepreneur is to make molehills out of a mountain. That's all it is. It's not that hard if you just break it down and take a step, and break it down and take a step. That's it. I'm so glad there wasn't a major. You could not major in entrepreneurship when I was went through, because I think that would have freaked me out so bad, how hard it is.
Sure.
But if it's just where the molehill for me was, oh, I can make this candle and I can sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I can do that. And then if I need to do it 100 times, okay, now I need to do it 1,000 times. Now I need to do it 10,000 times. Now I need to do it 50,000 times. So then the systems catch up with you. The spreadsheets catch up with you. And the experts you need catch up with you. It's so funny. It was like, I remember the very first time, and this is what I would say to anybody for advice. This chemist walked in and said, I really want to help you with your formulas for these 2 products. And I was like, I didn't even know I needed that. And that was exactly what we needed. Like, people will come find you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here today, telling these stories.
Thank you for having me. I love y'all. Y'all have done great work in this city for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you for listening today with very special guest, Becca Stevens. Also, a big thank you to the Beth and Randy Chase family with support from the Nashville Post. Please be sure to listen, rate, and share wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back soon with the next episode of Circle Back.